What's up, guys? I have Dr. Adriel Williams with me here today. He is a local friend and dentist here in Ohio. He's been all over the place. He has this amazing personal brand online. He mentors international students and young students in the dental field, coaching and mentoring them up to the ability to actually have their own businesses, live a purpose-driven life in dentistry. And he's obviously gone through a lot, as most immigrants have. And he has also done a phenomenal job recently acquiring a dentist here in acquiring a practice in Ohio. So, Adriel, thank you so much for coming on and taking the time to do a podcast. How's life? How are you feeling?
Well, thank you, Doc, for having me over. Well, life is good, adulting, just busy running around, doing stuff, and just trying to make the best out of the journey while completing this tasks and stuff. So overall, I'd say, thank God, it's going good, but busy, living the American dream.
And how many kids do you have currently?
I got two right now.
2 children. How old are they?
4 months and 4 years old.
Yeah. Busy guy, practice owner, coaching, and doing the kids and the family thing. So, Adriel, let's take a step back, okay? Where were you born?
So I'm originally from Pakistan, and one of the funny thing, like people are gonna be reading this, looking at my face. He looks Indian. Name is Adriel William. He's from Pakistan. What's going on up here? And usually, for most people, might be a new news, but Pakistan had like less than 1% of Christian community, which you might find in big cities in Punjab. So I'm one of them. My grandfather's dad was the one who converted from Sikhism to Christianity in Punjab. So I grew up in Lahore, which is like one of the biggest metropolitan city of Punjab. And my dad used to teach in there's an American Presbyterian University called FC College in Lahore, former Christian University. So I grew up in that campus. My dad used to teach, he was in limnology, fisheries, like zoology. And the funny thing is, the campus I grew up was an American institute. So imagine how US Embassy would be in Saudi. So my next door neighbors were kind of like, there would be American professors coming in and teaching in Pakistan. So that's the kind of environment I grew up in. And for me, well, people, if they say like Pakistan doesn't have diversity and stuff, well, I'm kind of like one of the living proof out of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So for someone like you, right, you seem very calm, you seem very humble, right? How did you deal with those ebbs and flows? Like people like Gen Z, millennials, you know, the same stuff keeps coming up. Like, oh, life is so stressful. You know, things are so hard, you know, and then, you know, I look at these people and I'm like, dude, you don't even know. You have no idea the amount of stuff that people have to put up with to get to where they are. So how have you dealt with it over the years?
Well, I think the thing I can say, I can only say things about, if I would talk back to a younger version of myself, I think after there's a Carl Jung's, or I think Nietzsche's quote, I think Carl Jung's, he says like, a boy becomes a man when he knows that his father is dead, either physically or psychologically. I think that really turned everything up. The change is like, nobody's coming to save you. You're the only one out there. And I think taking on that responsibility, like now there's no one coming, you have to do what it has to be done. And the thing is, once you move out of your parents' house or your father's house, you get abused. And I'm not saying like people, when you say abuse, people think, oh, sexual abuse. Not that. You get manipulated. When you're hungry and you want something, like today, if somebody comes, hey, I want to do something, I'll say, okay, go ahead, clean up everything you see right now. Because what I've learned, and I can say it as a young man, I wouldn't say it for women because it's a different world for them, even though in US it might be a little bit different. But when it comes to young people, grown up, mature people want to test you. Nobody wants to hand you the power or the keys or anything until they test. And now when I talk to 25 years, so people might not know, but I run a YouTube channel too. In 2020, when COVID came, I got accepted. I started making videos on how to apply to dental schools, how to prepare for your personal state, and all of those kind of things. So when I started, it's been now more than 5 years now, when I talk to people, younger guys, I tell them like, listen, you're going to be tested, you're going to be treated as shit, and you have to stick up to it. And if you survive, you will be given some place on the table. Not the throne that you're looking for, but you might get your small tiny chair to sit on the table and eat. And that's what you need. But before you get there, you have to prove your worth.
No, it's a beautiful thing. And those of you that are listening and heard Dr. Williams honestly plea, right, to you guys to realize you got to go out and experiment. There's also a lot of education and wisdom behind these words, right? So I'm picking up, you've clearly read a lot of books, right? Your father was a professor of a university. You've constantly educated yourself. You clearly have financial education when it comes to the United States, right? Because you've gone into owning a business. You understand that that's financially a smart thing to do.
I started, so my whole family is or most of them are teachers. My grandfather used to teach in a convent. My dad was a professor. My brother teaches in the same university now. I was 18 years old when I started. So my dad, I told you, we used to have an ego fight all the time. And I told him in Pakistan, I want a heavy bike, like a 500cc CBR. And he was like, screw you, go figure it out yourself. I'm not paying for it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start teaching in the evening, like tutor centers where you teach high school kids and you make money. So I started doing it, and for 2 years I did it, and I really enjoyed it. And as you can see, I enjoy speaking. So if I'm getting paid for it, wow, that's a wonderful job, right? So that was something that I really liked. And then for 2 years when I worked in US with the non-profit, I had to, in the non-profit you have to do fundraising and stuff. So I got to learn about people's perspective, and in that I was working with refugees and immigrant resettlement. So I got to hear in US, wow, there are people coming from Kurdish community who are not Arabs, but they have a different background. They are Chaldeans who were Catholics in Iraq, who kind of, they say they are from the lineage of Abraham. Then I got to know that there are Uyghur Muslims in China. There are I got to meet Kashmiris from India. So they were like, because I come from a very small minority group, which is very rare. So I got to meet these other unicorns at that time. And that was kind of like, okay, you get to hear about people's different perspective and stories. So I started really enjoying them. And then when I wrote my personal statement, I kind of like was using my experiences from this work, because I used to write a lot of newsletters and reports and these kind of things. So when I applied, I don't know what they liked at that time during COVID, but they really liked my application, and I got 6 invite, 5 interviews, 4 acceptance. First cycle, I was like, wow, I knew something maybe that other people might not know. Let's try during COVID and make some video. And I did, and people started to reach out to me. Hey, can you help us with interview? Can you help us with personal statement or writing? And I started to do it on and off, and like in the dentist school, how you're busy, but I kept doing it, and it just...
Did you get paid at that time for this, or was it straight up service?
Well, in the start, the first few people maybe free, but then I was like, hey, let's do it $50. Then it was like a little bit more. And as I got busier and became a dentist and time value, then the prices changed, and I had to make it a little bit, but it's been very small, like just a small business kind of thing, side gig. And I just personally, I enjoy it a lot. The only thing is, I wish I could do it full time and have the same amount of revenue stream, but I can't, because I can't burden these foreign trained dentists who are coming to US, who are immigrants, and pay so much money, because
right,
as compared to doing surgery for 1 hour, is sedation and wisdom will pay you much more. So I'm trying to create a balance between the two worlds, because I just enjoy it. It's just meeting new people. I made a lot of friends, and I think I went out to make videos to change something out there in the world, but it has changed me more than I made a change, because I met people. I had some feedback, some rough criticisms at times. I had some compliments. I made some friends, and it just changed the trajectory. It just started to, one decision led to another, and just shape things differently.
100%. That's the beautiful part about teaching. I assume that you know that doctor in Latin actually means teacher.
I've heard about it, yes.
Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing to come from a lineage of teachers, and then to be able to put that forward. But to your point, and to those people that are interested in starting their own small business, on the side, you got to factor in the time for money, right? You got, in the beginning, you're going to be spending your time to get money.
Yeah.
And if you are not factoring that in, you're going to have a hard time floating your hobbies. You're going to have a hard time floating your passions. Now you can take the other route, which is just go straight into the passion and suffer for a long, long time, and then eventually get something out of it. But to your point about people being able to afford your time, right? How do you find those qualified people that can afford your time and also satisfy your passion? That is a journey that I'm also on. So we'll definitely have to work together on that too. I'm curious about your audience and
So one
how we
thing
can
that
help them.
really helped me, like I now I tell my students, like people who are pursuing dentistry, you might feel I'm expensive. Like I charge $600 for interview, and they have to go
That's not
through
expensive.
certain, which is I try my best not to overburden, but I have to make sense that if I'm taking away time from my family and my kids, it's different now. So what I've learned is that I tell this straightforward. If you haven't figured this out, dentistry in US is a goddamn business. Nobody is here to give you free food. And if you think in other countries or in other places healing was a religious or a pious profession, I do believe it is, but in US they made it into a business, and I'm gonna say it upfront. Whether somebody like it or not, but that's where it's going, and swallow it as soon as possible so your brain can make the best out of it. And the second thing is dental schools are a business. Even when you come out, your licensing system, your DEA license, all of these loops and everything's a business. But the good part is, if you understand it, as a dentist, you can end up making millions. Now, I'm not in $600, I'm not selling you an interview prep. What I'm telling you is where you can get and the outcome of this event. So I tell students, mostly people who pay me 600 are one who have given 2 or 3 interviews, did not get accepted, and now wanted to get some professional help. And I tell them, listen, what's more expensive, this $600 at this time or waiting 1 year not to become a dentist? Because you are already close to 30s as a foreign trained dentist, and every year that you're not becoming a dentist, you're not making that $200,000 to $300,000 money. So now do your opportunity cost and whatever you want to do. And here's the other thing, what I've learned from a couple of entrepreneurs is that the world will only give you something if you give them for something for free. And I have a playlist of free YouTube video, and I do understand I've been at different phases of life where I could not have money even though I wanted some services. I say, here's free videos, you're more than welcome to watch these and prepare, and you will still get the result.
Right.
There are I'm trying my best to have, so I do a monthly free Q&A session with students, that because I was getting burned out with answering each and every WhatsApp question because my number was on YouTube, and it was just this is why I got the glasses now, because my eyesight was getting. I did it for 5-6 years. I was always on the phone. I can't. So I was like, here, how about this? We do a monthly Q&A session. You can come and ask whatever question. And I know this dentistry takes a toll. For me, it is like, I don't know, everybody's different, but I have known one thing, and with full surety, I can tell you, people who are willing to give something for free lives usually more healthier and fulfiller on the long. And this is a constant fight because I have to pay bills. At the business, the banks don't care. They come to knock to your door and get money. I have to make that money. I have to pay employees now. And on the other hand, I want to give for free. So it's kind of like you have that yin yang, kind of like when I'm doing it too much, the other side is like, calm down, you're selling too much, give something for free and let it happen.
Right.
So it's kind of
Right.
like, it's not easy living in a capitalist society, but you don't want to go crazy capitalist and you don't want to go crazy social. You want to play the game, but in a way where your inner peace and health don't get jeopardized. That's also a big issue that now I'm going to be 35 in October. So I'm kind of like, okay, you want to play this game, but you want to play it in a way that 50 years old you would enjoy.
Absolutely. So the $600, and I kind of wanted to hit on this a little bit more, right? And it's not even necessarily like, first of all, if you guys are internationally trained and you're having difficulties, please hit Adriel up. Like I've known people, okay? This man knows what he's talking about. He clearly, every single word that he's saying is an educated thing. It's based on personal experience. It's not something he's fluffing at all. And just realize that in general, just think about the philosophy of what we're talking about here, right? To learn from people in general and to have the opportunity to embrace their philosophy will necessarily change the trajectory of your life, and it will make your decisions much more efficient. One of the first mentors that I had was Grant Cardone, right? Online. And that was like my last year of dental school. I wasn't doing very well. And I came across this man. He was like, dude, you need to think about money. Money is not evil. You need to think about money. And later on, I came across the philosophy that you're talking about. Life is very hard for men that don't have money. right? That combined, I was like, okay, you're not someone that's doing less than other people. You're always trying to innovate. Combine it with your understanding of money, and you will have the life that you want. And this is a lesson that I think is being missed a lot in universities. Apologies. In universities, in high schools, kind of all over the United States, probably all over the world, for men and women, right? We need to embrace that ass power in order to make the very most of our lives. I was actually driving home today, and I was like, dude, my life's pretty good, but I also work 6 days a week, probably 7 days a week, at least half the day. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to live in the United States, but you also have the highest standards for customer service. You also have the highest standards for well-being in life. Like our products are amazing. They like actually work all the time. And I don't think we're grateful enough. And I think conversations like this really get me to think about that all the time. It's like, there are people in this world that have come here specifically for these opportunities, but also just it's a lot of fucking work. So you've talked about lessons and failures. Let's talk about your broader interests in the business stuff, right? So if someone's starting their own business, what are some of the fundamentals of things that they should think about?
That's a tricky place to start at. I think just you need to be. It depends on your age and situation. If you have like 5 kids and you have to pay the bills and everything, I would say just work 5 days a week. Keep your house happy. Use those 2 days and go and work for free. Look around, explore like a wild animal looking for food, and get ideas. Nowadays, you have to. It's a little bit more money and time, but there are a lot of communities on school and other places where you can find mentors. Now, not every mentor is meant for you, and I'm saying this as a mentor and as a mentee, that not everybody is the right fit.
Well, Dr. William, I got one last question for you, and thank you so much for taking the time to do this. This is a breath of fresh air, as per usual. Where are you going? What's the plan? You mentioned some cool stuff. Next 15 years, next 30 years. What are your dreams?
Well, as of now, like the picture that I'm seeing is I want to get my dental practice and overall this online business to get me to a little bit more freedom where I can enjoy working with online coaching work, explore more online world, maybe just travel more, meeting more people and learn. It's been 9 years in US. I think I now want to explore some other part of the world or just go and travel and learn from their cultures, because US, to be honest, is just a melting pot, right? That somebody brings a concept of healing or alternative medicine from China and becomes a master's and sell it, right? Most of the implant that we are doing came from Europe. Einstein brought the E is equal to MC square from Germany, right? So I believe there's a lot of wisdom right now in the world. The price to the success in US is that after a while you're living under the shelf. And I think, yeah, money is important, business is important, but enjoying the journey is important. So I'm praying and hoping and working hard. So this will give me a little bit of that elasticity to go and explore those other parts as well. And the best part is, being on the internet, you're universal, you're global, right? So you learn something from Malaysia or from Russia and you say it on your podcast, the world is taking that frequency. So as of now is just creating that system where I can buy that a little bit of more that freedom towards it.
And then go and travel, talk to amazing people, and obviously become that next version of yourself, right, that can handle it.
The problem is when you're learning, you need to explore. But when you're doing business, you're exploiting the skills that you have. In business or dental practice, you have to do the boring stuff over and over again every day, that it becomes a second nature for you, but it runs the business fast, so you're making money. That's the assembly line concept of any business in the universe. You want to do boring stuff and you want to do it repetitively again and again, so you can keep the money flow at a certain level. Now you use that money and work lesser hour, lesser day, and then you explore your passion. You read books, you go do painting. That's when you do I usually say every man or woman has a feminine and a masculine side. For me, when I enjoy surgery or doing sedation of wisdom, that's a very callous and masculine side. But when I get to do the coaching part, and I'm not saying in a man-female way in terms of organ, as a spirit, that's a more feminine aspect. You get to be more empathetic and take care of other people. And that creates a balance in me a little bit to keep me healthy. So you want to have both of those sides. Otherwise, if you keep sticking to one place place for a very long time, the other side gets suppressed. And that's when you get psychological issues, eventually becomes mental and health issues, autoimmune diseases, because a part of your personality, your inner child, or just got unmet. You never cared about that side. And then it comes out with an aggression or a disease.
Wise words. Well, I would ask you probably 50 other questions, and I probably will offline. Thank you so much for your time. Where do people find you?
So
what is your YouTube channel?
My YouTube channel right now, you would find it with Capid with Dr. Adriel, and you can share a link if that works, or on Instagram it's Capid with Dr. Adriel.
How do you spell that?
So I can share a link with you and the message I can, but
it's CAAPID,
yes,
right?
with Dr. Adriel. So Capid is the portal, like ADA Pass. How ADA Pass is, this is ADA Capid, centralized application for advanced training student kind of thing.
Cool. Thank you so much. Can't wait to talk more. Thank you for all of the service that you've given people, and let's talk some dentistry offline. I'm curious.
Sure thing, sir. Sure. Take care.